Are you ready for an incredible show today on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS, your one and only. And every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., we bring you the best of the best. And I'm telling you, today is the best of the best. We have the #1 real estate agent in all of Santa Cruz since 99 at least. And #1 RE/MAX real estate agent in all of California. A great friend, an incredible person, a giver in our community. And luckily, he's going to join us and give a lot to us today in what's going on in the real estate world in Santa Clarita and what to expect, the real numbers, and some interesting opportunities for sellers and buyers that I'm sure you never thought of. In fact, I didn't until I read his blog. Today we have Neal Weichel from RE/MAX joining us today. Thank you for joining us again, Neal.
Thank you, Don.
See, so just thank you. Thank you very much. We also have later on in the show, we have Mark Thompson, formerly of the Mark and Brian morning show. My favorite time every morning. Oh my goodness, I'm going through major withdrawals. He's going to be on later in the show to share with us what's going on in his world, because last time he was on our show, he could not share with us because he was at the end of his contract with the Mark and Brian show. So he's going to come on and share with us. And what's cool is Neal actually sold his home. So we got a little tie-in there, which is cool. On top of that, of course, I have my good friend and business partner, Gino Fronti, in the house with me.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Pretty excited.
I let you talk sometime, Gino.
At some point, right? So I'm really excited, and I do want to thank KHTS for putting on a great event last week.
Good call.
We went to Mount Asian. We had a lot of fun, especially you and Jerry had a little bump and rub.
Yeah, I'm surprised she let me back on the show after taking her out on the go-karts. Sorry, hey, Jerry.
all is fair in racing.
Yeah. It wasn't my fault. The guy in front of her just absolutely locked up his brakes, and I ended up taking her out. She's got whiplash now, so sorry, Jerry.
Yeah. Well,
it was a great event, though.
Also really important is I want to make sure you can check out our website at www.donandgino.com. You can hit the listen live button in the upper right-hand corner, and it'll allow you to see what we're doing here in the studio and have a little fun while we watch the show instead of just listen.
That's right. And on top of that, we just built a brand new fan page, Don and Gino Radio Show, Don and Gino Radio Show Facebook. Now, please go on there and check it out. We're going to have incredible content coming from there. In fact, right now we have a great Facebook contest. We call it the Themes You Probably Aren't Going to Get for Christmas contest. We're talking great prizes for those of you that like our fan page and share our fan page. In fact, the more you share it, the more entries you get into the contest. And we have great prizes such as a chauffeur-driven limousine to San Ynez to do some wine tasting. Because that's the only way to go wine taste as far as I'm concerned. What do you think, Neal?
I know I'll like it many times and share it with as many people as I can find. How's that?
I mean, what better way to go than not even have to worry about drinking and driving or anything and just have a chauffeur-driven limousine. And on top of it, these guys rock. It's Ron and Brandon Stein with Exclusive Sedan right here in our valley. They're great people, great advocates of our area here, and Ron and Brandon Stein are helping us out with that. We have the hot new Kindle HD. Everybody's all about. We got Home Depot gift certificate, easy for me to say.
I was going to say that a few times, Don.
And gift certificate to the awesome Sake Bistro, one of my favorite places to go in Gino's.
Yep.
We get in way too much trouble there, so if you haven't got a Sake Bistro, you need to go see Mark and Jay. That place rocks. So please go on to, again, our Facebook page is Don and A&D Gino Radio Show. That easy. Like us, and you'll learn a lot from great guests like we have today with Neal Weichel, who's going to join us today in our Word on Wealth. Thank you for joining us on that.
Well, you're welcome.
Well, a lot of times we just dive into it, but Neal is so informed. I love listening to him speak. In fact, what's kind of nice is when he speaks on his, the State of the Union, he calls it, about what's going on in our real estate community, because nobody researches our market or understands our market better. And the reason Gino and I really feel that is the more transactions you do, the more experience you get. I mean, I know Gino and I do our fair share of transactions, and the more and more we do, the smarter we get, because we learn something from every single transaction. We learn something from every single client that we work with, meaning what's important to them, what's not important to them, how to help them get into their home, how to fulfill their dreams. You learn a lot. And Neal, being #1 since 1999, has more opportunity to learn more about our market than anyone besides the research you do. And wouldn't you agree?
Well, I suppose so. Yeah, thank you. That's all very flattering. I think the key thing is when you're in a market that's changing the way ours has been over the last year, if you're not in it every day and talking to lots of people and getting feedback and talking to other agents and showing property, just all the things that any busy, productive real estate agent does on a daily basis, you don't really understand what's happening. And sometimes things are happening, but you realize they happen maybe a month or two later. Okay, yeah. That doesn't happen for those of us that that sell a lot of homes, because it's literally every day. I mean, there's things that have happened in the last 10 days that have affected my view on what we're going to see next year, which I think we're going to talk about in the show a little bit.
We're definitely going to talk about that.
Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's a great point, Don, is that every single transaction is unique. Every single transaction, everybody's needs are unique, everybody's home is unique, everybody's financials are unique, and that's what we do, is we make sure that we meet all your needs for your unique needs with the things that we can provide for you to make sure you get your real estate goals.
And that's a valid point, Gino, because especially if you listen to their needs. You get 2 ears, 1 mouth. There's a reason for that.
Use them proportionally.
You're an expert at that. You fulfill needs better than anyone I know, because everybody I've talked to, Neal, and this is not just to butter you up, but honestly, everybody I talk to is always impressed by the way you fulfill their needs. You actually find out what's important to them, and then you educate them. I think that's a part of our job, not just making them happy by selling their home or getting them into a home, but also educating them, because we're supposed to be the experts. So we need to share valid information that can change their life. And I know you do that a lot for your clients as well.
Well, I mean, my job as a professional salesperson is to ask questions. That's what my job is. If you were to put it in one sentence, that's what I do. And I ask many, many questions all day, because if I don't know what the answers to those questions are, then I can't do my job. Now, with that said, because this market is changing, I would suggest that managing expectations is so important. I may go into somebody's home and they may have a very they just may not understand what's happening in their neighborhood, and I'm there to tell them their home is now worth $500,000, and they still think it's worth $4.25. It's a positive message, which is exciting to bring. But if they don't know that, if they don't know that appraisal can be an issue, and we have to sell their home in a completely different way than what is traditional, if they haven't sold their home in, let's say, 10, 12 years, I mean, the way we market today versus 10, 12 years ago, it couldn't be more different. So, managing expectations, I think if we're doing that, if people are not surprised by things, if they know what to expect, then they're going to say great things about us at the end. Whether we're doing a great loan like you guys do, or you're helping them sell their home or buy a home like I do, that is really important when it's hard to make sense of what's going on out there. So hopefully in the short time we have today, we're going to help people understand what really is happening, because it's changing as we speak.
And I do want to talk a little bit more about that, but I think part of what happens here in Santa Clarita, and we are a small bubble that's less affected than maybe some of the major metros, people in Los Angeles are a little more sensitive to this possibly, but, you hear in the news all this negative talk about the fiscal cliff and all the impact the fiscal cliff's going to have, and, all these tremendous things that are going to change, like the Mortgage Debt Relief Act that we were talking about just a little while ago. So how do you feel, your clients feel about these topics that are happening in the mainstream media? Do they feel affected? Do they feel like they're making a move right now because they have to?
I did get quite a fair amount of inquiries, I guess that's probably the best word to use, questions, concerns, inquiries about, Obamacare and about extra tax if I sell this. A lot of people actually thought if they sold their principal residence, they were going to have to pay tax on that. And the answer to that is, for the most part, no, you're not. It's going to be on perhaps rental property. But it all has to do with gain. And I think there was a lot of concern or question, confusion, right? Yep. About what do these things mean? The fiscal cliff, gosh, a cliff. I mean, that's scary, right? So, who wants to deal with a cliff? I mean, I don't think I do. But I think when we really get into it and really look at it, I think as long as we understand that these are changes, to be sure, but not changes that should dramatically affect us, at least most of us, we're going to be fine.
I love hearing that. Speaking of fiscal cliffs, we're going to unfortunately have to jump off the cliff right now for our break, because